Thank you, Lisa, and thank you everyone for coming this morning and giving up your time. You know, every now and again you sit down and you realise the blindingly obvious. Over 30 years of working with organisations and working with leaders across the globe, from the private sector, public sector, third sector, it's that amazing moment you realise that you've been doing one thing consistently throughout all of that time. And going even further back, when I was sitting on boards and in executive teams, the same thing. And the bit that's hit me, the lens that's come to me is, we view our world, especially in Western developed economies, through the eyes of limitations, weaknesses, constraints, areas for development, areas for improvement. Everything we do, if you look at our media, if you look at our politics, if you look at the Brexit debate, everything is through the lens of weakness or negativity. How different would our world be if we looked at it through a more positive lens? Especially when it comes to strengths versus limitations. So I want to try and convince you of three things. Number one, collaboration is the new leadership. Nothing is best done alone anymore. No one leader can call all the shots on their own anymore. With our unforgiving marketplaces, the speed we move at, transformation everywhere, collaboration is the new leadership. Second thing I'd like to convince you of, optimism is a force multiplier. Who wants to work for that pessimistic boss? The more optimistic we are, the more our people feel better about the world that they're trying to navigate through. And the final thing I'd like to convince you of is probably the most important. There was a time when the organisation could choose the talent. Today, I put it to you increasingly, the talent is choosing the organisation. What is marking your organisation out as the battle for talent heats up? What makes you stand out from the crowd? In a world where salaries alone, incentives alone, don't cut it anymore. What I do see of the best, they've honed their strengths to near Olympian standard. The trick is then to build a team around them that compensates for their weaknesses. But if that team is built upon every single member capitalising upon their strengths every day, you've got the most high-performing team ever. And that's the premise for today. I spent 10 years at Marks & Spencer's, 3 years on the board of Pepsi, 5 years on the board of IPC Media, 3 years as a non-exec on the board of the Inland Revenue, 21 different performance appraisals, and I have literally got hundreds of areas for improvement, limitations, areas for development, hundreds. I've only ever had 3 strengths. No matter where I worked, the strengths were identical, with one little quirk. At Marks & Spencer's, they said he can be far too emotional. The same behaviour at Pepsi was he's by far the most passionate on the team. Finding the organisation where your values match theirs really helps. But I've only ever had three spikes, 3 strengths. He can do the big picture. He can communicate a bit. He's by far the most passionate on the team. Guess what job I do today? And guess what it demands that I do? But if you look at my team that's around me today, they all complement the hundreds and hundreds of areas for improvement I've always had. They sort those. It is not complex. But wouldn't it be wonderful if we could all make our own decisions, write our own stories, follow our own passions, choose our own paths? Because every single person in this room is unique, special and different. Our mantra at Pepsi was the chief executive's job, the boss role, was to make everyone spikier, not work on their weaknesses, fine-tune your strengths, make them even better, make them really stand out. There aren't any failures from now on. Everyone has a compelling spike, but you've got to want to look for it. You've got to want to find it. No matter how they're packaged, no matter how they look, no matter what the accent, no matter what the surname, there's an opportunity for the organisation. If you're bold, you might fail. If you're not bold, you will fail. What's your spike? Thank you very much.